Hi there, welcome to this week's video. It is a cool toned makeup tutorial. Before I launch in, the set is finally set. If you follow me on Instagram, you know I solicited the help of my dear friend and longtime photographer, Al Torres, to come in here and to tweak things. I just wasn't happy with the solid wall behind me and the flatness of that. And as somebody who's been in broadcast television for as long as I have, I should know better that things shot with a greater depth of field always look more interesting. So I just took my main desk and I pivoted so that I now had an angle behind me and took advantage of the nice window and the backlighting, and suddenly I felt like things just opened up and took on the feeling that I was hoping for. And then Al came in here and tweaked some lights and everything, and so I think we are good to go. So that's the backstory on this. So I've now carved out my little niche on the third floor of this house, which is great because I still have this in the bathroom and other areas to shoot. So I'm happy to launch this set with a cool makeup tutorial. So you may be asking, well, how do I know what my skin tone is? I'm not sure if I'm cool, warm, neutral. Well, let me throw a fourth one in there, and that is olive toned. So we have 4 skin tones to try to decode and figure out what you are. So I'm going to go through a little checklist, and we'll see if this will help better pinpoint for you what you are skin tone wise, and then that will lead to what kind of colors, makeup, and clothing that will best suit you. So the first one is, what colored jewelry do you feel looks best on you? Do you prefer silver, or do you prefer seeing yourself in gold? Cool tones look better in silver, warm tones in gold. If you are neutral toned, you can actually wear silver and gold interchangeably. The next question to help you determine if you are cool toned: does your skin appear more pink than golden? And now let's talk about your natural hair color. Does it have little to no copper or gold or red in it? Interestingly, I'm an ash brown, and if I go like this and I cover the hair color, that's my root, you can actually see that I am a very flat brown, and I always seem to add more of the warm tones, but pay attention to what your natural hair tone is. The next question is, what kind of clothing do you feel best suits you? If you think you look best in jewel toned clothing, then you are probably more cool toned. If you enjoy earth tones more on you, then you're warm. And if you can interchange, you're neutral. And now sun exposure. If you burn always, you're cool. If you tan always, you're warm. If you burn and then tan, you're neutral toned. Last but not least, the tried and true trick: look at the inside of your arm, check out your veins. If they have more of a blue and purplish tint, you're cool toned. If they're green, you're warm toned. And if it's really hard to tell, then you're most likely neutral. So you may be wondering, okay, so now that I've identified what I am, what are cool tones? Well, let's go through the list of all the colors. Pinks, mauves, plums, roses, cool browns, black, navy blue, bright blue, teal, white, and gray. It's basically all of the cool colors that you see on the color wheel. Now, don't forget about red. Red can also be a cool as long as it has a bluish tone in there. So cools tend to look best in bluish red. If you are a cool tone person, then stay away from anything yellow, because that's going to completely wipe out your complexion. So now that we have identified cool tones and we've listed colors, let's go through and do a cool toned makeup tutorial. I'm wearing a lavender, which is a cool tone. It's going to help me play off of the plums, the mauves, and the pinks that I'm going to use to accentuate the cools in the outfit and to really bring everything a little bit more cool in my skin tone. As I push in now, you can see something interesting. The self-tanner that I use has worn off on my face, but it's still on my neck and chest. And self-tanners have a lot of gold undertones in them. So now you can see a difference in the skin tone here. So be careful with self-tanners because it can adjust your overall tone, and I'm going to have to correct a little bit the neck and the chest to make everything make sense. All products will be listed in the description portion of the video as always, so I won't slow you down. I'm going to start with a primer by Glam 35. It's an age blur primer, and it just helps to smooth the surface and is great for blurring pores. I'm going to work today, so I will be using matte foundation because I can't shine on TV. or at least not in that way. There's also a lip primer by Glam 35 that I like too. And let that set. Foundation is YSL All Hours Foundation. Also, if you are, this is a really important tip, if you are a neutral like me, and you can switch back and forth between warms and cools, make sure you're diligent with cleaning your makeup brushes. A product that I love is a Sephora brand, and it's called Refresh. It's a daily brush cleaner, and all you do is spray it on a tissue and you just rub your brushes in it. It's like a dry clean type of a brush cleaner. So I can't recommend that enough, because there's nothing worse than when you're switching palettes, and in this case, I usually wear warms and I'm doing cool for you, and I don't want any warm residue in any of my makeup brushes carrying over and tainting the lovely cools that we'll be applying today. And since I am very yellow and golden below, I will carry this down. It's going to seem a lot lighter, but you know, you can always warm your skin with a bronzer, and we'll elaborate more when it is bronzer time, but you can always warm it up with a bronzer. Again, the key is the tint and tone of that bronzer. Anything with yellowy or gold undertones you'll want to stay away from. Bronzers that are more neutral colored or red colored will be better suited for you. I can definitely warm up my face to better match the tone on my neck and chest a little bit later. A lot of cool tone folks have a lot of red pigmentation in the skin, so before you use your foundation, it might be wise to invest in a green colored color corrector, and that way you're not having to use too much foundation to overcorrect the redness. You can do that green color corrector before you do your foundation, and it really helps to cut some of that red out. So that's just a determination that you'll have to make depending on how pink and how red your skin tone is if you're a cool. I like to prime my lids actually with a little bit of concealer. This one's by Kosas. Just a few dots. It's just my way of color correcting any blue, red tones there. Gives me a nice wash. Okay, the next thing I'll do, just give a little bit more definition to the eyebrows using Anastasia Beverly Hills. Look for taupe, ash, any type of a neutral type color. And I can even cool this down a little bit with some eyeshadow that has a cooler tone in it. See, this matches more of my hair, but a little bit later I'm going to do sort of a ombre look with the brow and give it a little bit more of a darker, cooler depth to it. So at least there's still a tie-in with the hair color. So eyeshadow, this is where it gets so interesting. You have so many options, and I'm going to show you one. This is by Dose, and it says Pretty Cool on it. And when you take a look, all of the colors in here are very, very cool. There we go. I don't want you to see the reflection. You see there are different shades of browns, taupes, greens, light brown. These are all very neutral tones, great for cool skin. Some of the cosmetic companies are even putting on there cool or warm to help you best decide. Another one that I love, and this is the one I'm going to use, is Olive You Forever by Violet Voss. And the colors there are a lot of greens in there, but as you can see, there are some pinks, roses, and plums, and I think that's going to pull in well with what I'm wearing. But the first thing I'm going to do is use, well, Wishful. Wishful, I could read it, is this light sort of pinky mauve color, and I'm going to start with that on my eyelid. Mauves are so great as a cool color. And this one is very nice. I'm going to go in on that Dose palette and go into the darker brown. And I'm going to use that on the outside. I'm just going to soften it back into the Olive You Forever with Wink, kind of like a pale pink. Just carrying it up here. And just blending together the colors. And then there's a super light white called Major Spotlight, and I will go underneath my eyebrow just as a brow highlight. And a little bit in the corner. Back to the Dose palette, the dark color that I used, now I'm going to play in on the lower part of my eyebrow. And then just a few little strokes in between. Okay, for a pencil, I'm using a plum colored by Wonder 2. I'm wondering why there's no name on it. I have searched. I think I spent 10 minutes just twisting and trying to find a name. I can't find it, but I'll find it online, and of course I'll put it in the description. If you have hazel eyes, green eyes, plums and purples really make green eyes pop. So I'm going to top line and do the waterline below with this plum color. Basically, top lining is coming from the underside and smudging it into the lashes and the inner rim of the eye. We have this Saharan dust that's been blowing through Texas. Man. Okay, I'm just going to let that cool down for a little bit. Go back in the cool palette, get into that cool brown. And just carry it a little bit on the top lash line and a tiny bit out. So now some mascara, Wonder Extensions, Lash Extensions Mascara, top lashes only. Let these eyes settle down. We're going to get into concealer now. If you have circles like I do, bluish toned, make sure you use a peach toned color corrector for that. This one is by NARS, and it will instantly get rid of the blues and the purples. It's like magic. So I use this first before my concealer. Just the area under the eye that has the issue. I've got a little bit out here, but mainly on the inner. I am out of my Tarte Shape Tape concealer, so I'm using Kosas Revealer Concealer. When I did a concealer video a little while ago, I think I featured 7 different concealers and how they performed. This one did pretty well. So I held on to it, and now I'm just going to go very slightly over the areas where I color corrected. If I have any spot correction that I need to do, I can take care of that. I'll get a little red under my nose just from the retinols. So sometimes I've got to hit it with concealer too. Okay, concealer in place. Let's set it with Pat McGrath Labs. It looks scary white, but it's really not. It's a great concealer setter. And it does not accentuate the lines under the eyes by any means. Still using the Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Setting Powder. Let's set the foundation and we're going to move into some color for the face. And since I put foundation down on my neck and my chest, powder goes there too. Okay, so I mentioned a little while ago about contour. And I've been using this Smashbox contour palette forever, to the point where I'm almost out of contour, the highlighter broke, and the bronzer is still pretty much intact, but it's more of that orangey color that I'm avoiding. This contour color is absolutely perfect because it is a cool toned contour color. So we're going to use that for contouring, also for warming up a little bit in the areas where you would normally contour. Just slightly below the cheekbone, up in the forehead, and then I also go in and just do tip of the nose. You can do sides of the nose, whatever you like, whatever makes you happy. The blush color is one by Laura Mercier, and it's a lovely sort of pinkish rose color. Chai is what it's called. Let's do a nice application of blush right up top here. Warm up the cheeks. Okay, for the lips, I absolutely love Nude Truffle by NYX. There it is. Such a fantastic, great nude color. And it's on the cool shade as well. And I love it because it's just more of, I'd say like a lip border than anything else. And it's not a hard line, and I'll put it on and then I'll just take my finger and then smudge a little bit. And it just really gives a nice soft outline to the mouth. Okay, and then I can just take my little pinky finger and just softly smudge it. Like I said, I wanted it to be more of a shadow border than a hard line. A fabulous, cool shade that I love, and she creates a lot of really good colors, is Houston makeup artist Gentry Kelly. This color is about as close as I've been able to get to my all-time favorite L'Oreal number 115 Letitia Champagne, but it is a cool-based rose gold. It's called Who Nude, probably one of her best sellers, but it has, to me, the best of all worlds to it, and I think it's going to complement this and the dress really, really well. Such a lovely shade, really nice creamy consistency, a little bit of frost, but not too much frost. Just a great cool toned color that doesn't wash you out. Okay, now check this out, because this has to be one of my favorite new products on the market, and that would be these Lumify eye drops. And especially now, since this Saharan dust has decided to float its way into Texas and my eyes have been so red, 2 little drops of this and the whites of my eye will be like shockingly white. So give me a sec. And you can apply it with makeup on. Okay, we'll do a little time lapse here. Okay, I'm back 30 seconds later. This stuff is awesome. Okay, pulled back for full effect, and also I decided to slick my hair back. Since the base of my hair is a cooler tone, it makes more sense with the makeup application. But I want to pass along a really neat little tip, and I get a lot of questions from you blue-eyed gals. Can you play around with your makeup if you're a cool tone skin color, but you have blue eyes? The answer is yes. And in fact, it's very interesting for women with blue eyes to actually use warmer tones on the eyes, coppers and bronzes and golds, to really make those blue eyes shine. But the trick is, keep everything else on the face cool. Keep your foundation matching your skin tone, your blush tones, your lip tones more on the cool side, but you can do warm colors on your eyes to really make the blue shine. And it's also an interesting contrast when it comes to color schemes and how things even read on the color wheel. So you can definitely do that with blue eyes, and I just wanted to pass that along. So don't be afraid to experiment in that arena. But I hope this tutorial really helped you in identifying the type of skin tone that you have and letting you know if you're a neutral like me, you can play in both sides and have fun with it. I do find, like I said, if I have less red or gold in my hair, the more cools and nudes work better for me. And sometimes my hair color will dictate where I go with makeup, but that's okay. And that's the fun and the beauty and the joy in playing with your hair color, because it opens up so many opportunities for you to also change your makeup look as well. When I was a blonde and more of an icy blonde, again, I could hone in on the cools. When I'm more of a golden red, I'm honing in on the warms, but it gives me all of this creative opportunity to experiment and try and play. And that's the whole purpose of my channel and being here for you, is to break down the fear of change, to show you that there are so many options and opportunities available to you if you're willing to step outside the box and just give things a try. So please give me a thumbs up if you found this tutorial helpful. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, I want you to be a part of this fabulous community. So hit the subscribe button, enable all the notifications so that you'll be notified every time I release a video, which is every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you follow me on social media, then of course you got all the behind the scenes of the set change. And I really hope that you like it. And like I said, don't worry, all my bathroom lovers, I will be back in the bathroom for tutorials and the closet. I just love having different areas of my house to be able to bring content for you. It's just so easy to run down to my closet, my bathroom, and grab stuff and come upstairs or wherever. Anyway, thank you for being here. I hope you know how much I love you and appreciate you, and I will see you next week. Bye.